Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show discussing all of the latest around Manchester United, and in particular the midfield. Now, many sources have come out, and many reliable sources have come out saying it's very unlikely that United are going to sign a goalkeeper. If they do sign a goalkeeper, it will be Lamens, but it very much depends on if we can get rid of Bayindir, because Lamens would come in to challenge Onana. So goalkeeper doesn't look like it's happening, doesn't look like it's on the agenda, but midfield is still on the agenda. The dream is Carlos Baleba. Manchester United making obviously moves for Carlos Baleba. They want to get a deal done for Carlos Baleba, but Brighton have said no, Carlos Baleba is not for sale. The fact that we're in for such an expensive deal and the fact that Ruben Amorim has been demanding an athletic midfielder all window says to me that I can't see United finishing this window without signing a midfielder. But the question is who? Adam Wharton, I don't think he's going to be available despite United scouting him. I think he'll be the same price as Baleba. I think there's physical limitations. Would he partner Maino or Bruno? I'm not so sure. I think he's fantastic on the ball. But I also think with Eze and Gay set to leave Palace, I can't see Adam Wharton going anywhere. There's been links to Koeman, but I think if we really liked him, we would have made a move now. Amorim is very familiar with the player. There's been links to Edison, but nothing has come out in the last few months. But there's one player I mentioned about a month ago that I said Man United should go for. Because a month ago, I didn't even think we'd go in for Baleba. I thought that was just too expensive. And that was Lucien Agoumé. I said he reminded me of Baleba. I think Man United should go in for Lucien Agoumé. And I said that a month ago. And all of a sudden, Manchester United are now looking at Lucien Agoumé. 35 million release clause. Believe they can get him for £25 million. Manchester United could be readying a move for the Stars. So we're going to talk about all the midfield news. We're going to talk about Agoumé. We've got updates a little bit on Malacia. There's interest there from Roma Porto, but he may go out on loan. Onana expected to stay. So yeah, let's get into all the news. But of course, do hit that like button and feel free to subscribe if you're new. I'm just going to share my screen. Bear with me a sec. So this is the first thing that had come out today. Manchester United have set their sights on 23-year-old midfielder Lucien Agoumé after ending their pursuit of Carlos Baleba, and Lucien Agoumé has a £35 million release clause. It was also said by sources out in Seville that Manchester United are willing to offer 22 to 26 million for Lucien Agoumé, while Sevilla referred to the release clause of 35 million. But there's now reports coming out that United are willing to offer this. We're willing to even offer money for this player. Are we starting negotiations? He's got a 35 million release clause. We're offering 26 million. Are we starting negotiations willing to offer this amount of money? And interestingly as well, CC Transfers, who's a bit of a Manchester United transfer insider, said that United scouted Agoumé during the 21 Euros and then again in his most recent league appearance. So in his most recent league appearance at the weekend, we were scouting the player. Now, I'm going to say a few words on this, and the first few words is this guy is such an obvious Baleba alternative because I've literally been talking about him for ages. I've been talking about him before we were linked to Baleba. I said it's the most obvious Baleba alternative. So could media be sitting there saying, Man United gets clicks, this is a really obvious Baleba alternative, let's just make up a story that Manchester United are in for this player? Absolutely. Media could just make a story that we're interested in signing this player because Man United gets clicks. And Agoumé as a Baleba alternative on paper is probably who I'd see Brighton replacing Baleba with. That said, some of the reports, like CC Transfers, is quite credible. All the other reports are coming from Spain. Now, there was a few reports a couple of days ago from Spain, and those reports are heating up. And Man United did, in fact, have a scout at the Seville game, which would make sense if the scout was looking at Lucien Agoumé. So the fact that there was a scout there watching him, that is a big sign that United could be looking at him. Now, I obviously want to talk about the player. I think it's a very good player. I want to talk about the midfield situation, but there has been many links in recent days saying that we are looking at Lucien Agoumé. I'm actually going to go and get up some of the stories on Lucien Agoumé for you guys, because this is obviously something that's come more recently. So as you know, La Seville Foot, which is a Seville-based source, said that United are willing to offer 22 to 26 million for Agoumé. Via Sport Witness, a source called Orgulubiri Sevilla, which again probably butchered that, said that United are going for Sevilla midfielder Lucien Agoumé. Info Sevilla said a few days ago that Sevilla midfielder Lucien Agoumé is making waves around Manchester United. So all these Sevilla sources keep coming out saying that we're in for Agoumé, we're interested in Agoumé, because we obviously had a scout at the game. Could this be Agoumé's agent trying to get some interest in him? I don't know. It's only really coming out from Seville-based sources at the moment, but it is still particularly interesting. A lot of people talk about Kamara as an alternative to Agoumé. I like him. I still think Agoumé, in my opinion, is the best Baleba alternative, but a lot of people are talking about other options on the market. So yeah, should we talk about Lucien Agoumé and the player, and if he's good and all of that as well? Because I think that's a big thing. But yeah, let's talk about Lucien Agoumé. I actually tweeted on him before we were linked to him, and before we even linked to Baleba. This is when we were talking about wanting Baleba, but knowing we were never going to get him. So let me find this here. So I actually said this about just over 2 weeks ago. So I said this. I think Agoumé might be the best cheap Baleba alternative on the market right now. That's what I said. I said 6'1", strong, fast, agile. Amram will love his physical profile. Played both 6 and 8 for a struggling Seville side last season and still stood out. Defensively solid, protects the back line well, better on the ball than Nagate. When we pushed higher, showed he can carry and ride challenges using his strengths. Reminds me a lot of Baleba, still young and raw, but with the right coaching he could be a real asset. Spanish reports have linked us to him before, definitely one of the better options out there. Now, there is a fear inside me that Spanish reports are linking us to him because it's a very obvious link to make, because it's a very good and smart Baleba alternative. Obviously, we've got Maino, obviously, we've got Saku Kone, but we obviously need someone to come in with a bit more experience. But again, what do I know about Lucien Agoumé? I just think he's very physically good. He's played 6 and 8 for a very poor Seville side last season. They were poor to watch. And on the ball, he looked all right. He was much more comfortable than Nagate on the ball, much more press resistant. He's a decent passer, but it was his ball carrying that stood out to me. A little bit like Baleba, how he physically could protect the defence, cover a lot of ground, cover a lot of space physically off the ball, which is what Baleba does. And that's why I like Baleba more than Wharton, even though Wharton's better on the ball, but just because of the pure amount that Baleba can do off the ball, which I think is perfect for Maino. He's 6'1", he's strong, he's fast, he can get the ball and he can carry it well. I think he'll protect the defence. I think he can carry and ride challenges very well, like Carlos Baleba. I mean, his underlying numbers are better than Baleba's, but it's a different league in a different system, so I don't think that really reads too much into it. I still think Baleba's the better player because we've seen him in the Premier League, we've seen what Baleba can do. But Lucien Agoumé, for me, is a very good player and a very good option out there. Agoumé or Wharton, who's better? I mean, Wharton would take over Agoumé because you're looking at Premier League experience and stuff. I like the ideal midfield too would be like Wharton and Baleba. Like that would be the ideal midfield too. But I think in terms of all of that, I would say that I wouldn't say he was better than Wharton. I've not seen enough of him to say he was better than Wharton, but I do think he was a very smart alternative, if I was going to be honest. Guys, please do go ahead and hit that like button, and of course subscribe down below if you're new and want to stay up to date on all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more. Remember, I do go live pretty much every single day, giving you all the latest Manchester United news. But yeah, let's dive into some more news. Let's dive into some more updates. There is talk of Diogo Costa to Manchester United. Me being totally honest, it's just not happening. Like, I'm going to tell you that now. Unless we sell Onana, which is set to not happen. There hasn't been any interest in Onana in about 2 months. There was Saudi interest in him. Onana said no. Unless we sell Onana, we are not signing a goalkeeper of Diogo Costa's price. We will sign a goalkeeper if Bayendier leaves, probably Elemens, but no. Diogo Costa as well for me. I think he's overrated. I'm not going to lie. I think he's overrated, to be honest. He's got mistakes in him. I just don't really see a big difference between Diogo Costa and Onana. Sometimes I watch Diogo Costa and I thought he was mint, and I've watched a few games of him and I thought it was absolutely mint. But actually, the guy's got mistakes in him. I'm not fully convinced on Diogo Costa. Do you know what? And this might sound bad because obviously Onana's our keeper and most goalkeepers we're linked to are an improvement on what we've currently got. But I'm not fully convinced on a lot of keepers in the market right now. Joan Garcia was the one that I think was probably value for money the best, but he's gone to Barcelona. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. One sec, I just been sent something. Inos, someone's messaged me that Inos are turning to 35 million midfield star after Baleba fiasco. Lucien Agoumé is believed to be open to the move. Oh, it's an opinion piece. It's an opinion piece about Lucien Agoumé that I've been sent. Look, I want Lucien Agoumé. I think Lucien Agoumé would be a good signing for Manchester United. I think it makes sense. I think go for Baleba next year. The goal is Baleba in 2026. I just want someone that can claim a cross. Sales is a bit of a one-season wonder, though. I don't want to take the risk there. He's a good passer. Like, for me, he's not like as good at passing as Adam Wharton, but he is a good passer and he's much better than Lagate on the ball. He's got elements of Baleba off the ball, better than Lagate on the ball. Heaton, do you know what? I want to show you something. Do you guys know Vitek? I assume you know Vitek. So Vitek, we've obviously got two goalkeepers out on loan, Vitek and Harrison. Now, Vitek has gone on loan to the Championship, and that's always a good league to someone on loan to. Obviously, Vitek has got 2 man of the match performances. 2 man of the match performances on loan. Another man of the match performance. So they had a 0-0 draw versus Charlton in the Championship, and Vitek got an 8.6 on SofaScore for a goalkeeper, FootMob for a goalkeeper, and an 8.2 against Sheffield United for a goalkeeper. And look, I don't look at FootMob and think that's how we're going to judge a player as good or not. I watch games, obviously Cunha didn't get a good player rating versus Arsenal, but I watched the game and he was good. But for a goalkeeper, I think you can go off player ratings a little bit more than an actual player. But he got a clean sheet, you got man of the match versus Charlton. Apparently he was excellent. And he was voted for man of the match in both of Bristol's first 2 games of the season. So that's Vitek on loan. And interestingly, Samuel Lutka said, with Tom Heaton turning 40 this year and Bayindir and Onana unlikely to start a 4th consecutive season as number 1 and number 2, Vitek is well positioned for promotion if he continues his solid start. So Vitek could be one to watch next season for the goalkeeping position. The more I look at Vitek now, and I've only watched him play about 3 games, I just think he's better than Onana. I just think he's better than Bayindir. And the more I look at Vitek now, I think, to be honest, should we have sent him out on loan or should we have tried him in pre-season? Obviously, him going to Bristol on loan and doing really well in the Championship is good for us. It's good for his sell-on value. It's good for him. But I sometimes look at it and I think, is he our best keeper? Is our best keeper playing for Bristol right now? I think Heaton's better than Bayindir, to be honest. But do we really want to go into a season with Heaton? Yeah, it's one of those. But look, obviously got good FootMob ratings, but you can't judge a player off FootMob ratings. But as a goalkeeper, it can give you an indication of how many saves he made. But I'm going off the fact that he got man of the match as well from the general people voting. The media keep talking about Diogo Costa to Manchester United, but it's very unreliable links. It's very Portuguese media links, probably trying to get a few clicks out of Manchester United. The Diogo Costa to Manchester United reports are not reliable. Emi Martinez is now seen as unlikely. Donnarumma is now seen as unlikely. Very credible sources have said that unless Onana is sold, we can't do Emi Martinez, Donnarumma, Diogo Costa. The only keeper we can really do is Lemens, but that is very dependent on I think Bayindir. I think Lemens is probably, if we're going to sign a goalkeeper, I would be honest and say it's probably going to be Lemens. Now let's continue on into some more news. Let's continue on into some more stories. But Vitek looks good from what I've seen. We're going to talk about Agoumé. I have concerns. He'll be good in games when we don't have possession and we just need someone to win back the ball. But in games when you've got possession, he's such a liability. Now, I want to talk about Man United's midfield. I want to talk about what The Athletic has come out and said on Manchester United's midfield and what is on the midfield agenda at Manchester United. An athletic midfielder has been on Manchester United's agenda all summer. Baleba was the top choice, and there's now some internal debate about whether to pivot to another option. There's appreciation for Human and Wharton. So obviously reports are coming out now basically saying, they don't know for sure if Man United are going to go and get another midfielder, because Baleba is obviously who we wanted. We really wanted Baleba. And Man United are doing this thing of, we don't want to buy players for the sake of it. We want quality, not quantity. They're saving their budget for Baleba next year. They've got strong indications that Baleba will choose to join them next year. And it looks like they're going to go all out for Baleba next year. So they're weighing out, do we still go for a midfielder this year? There's an appreciation for Human and Wharton, but putting a lot of money on them this year, could that stop us financially affording Baleba next year? A midfield signing is not guaranteed, but it's being looked at. United are looking at midfielders. Ruben Amorim has made it clear he needs a midfielder. I think anyone that's watched Manchester United, Inos, Ratcliffe will know we need a midfielder. I just don't think that this board will go into next season without a midfielder. I think if you've watched us play, I think it would be so idiotic to go into next season without a midfielder. So I personally think that we are going to sign a midfielder, even if it's not guaranteed, because Baleba is who we wanted, and we want to do this more quality over quantity, not buying people for the sake of it. I think if Manchester United can get a midfielder for under £30 million that they feel can do a job between now and the end of the season, they will do that and go for Carlos Baleba next year. And there's rumours that Lucien Agoumé we could get for £25 million. So I just think that's one of those situations where you've got to go and do it. Amorim wants a midfielder. He's demanded a midfielder. I think Baleba is over, but Amorim just wants them to do everything they can to try and get Baleba. It's so obvious that we need that profile of player. If we're not going to get a keeper, we at least have to get a midfielder. We've at least got to get one more signing, whether it be keeper, whether it be midfielder. And midfielder's more important for me. I think the fact that we all know how much we need a midfielder, Amorim wants a midfielder, we were pushing for Baleba, says to me that if we think there's a midfielder on the market for a good price, good value, that is a good player, because we're not going to go and take a risk on a player that maybe Inos don't rate. Hayden Hackney, I guess on paper, price makes a lot of sense, but Inos just might not rate him or feel he's ready for that move, and don't want to bring in a player and him not be good enough and have another Morgan Schneiderlin situation where actually, okay, we bring in this midfielder, Donny van de Beek, Morgan Schneiderlin, but they're not good enough. We want to kind of avoid that situation, which is good, but we do need to get a midfielder, and it's about being smart and going, well, who are we going to go for next? And as I said, Lucien Agoumé makes sense. So United have been weighing up internally whether to move for another midfielder or not. Agoumé has been poor. Agoumé is a good player to have in certain games, but not a good player to have week in, week out. Agoumé is a liability in many games, in many situations. I think if you're looking to win the ball back high, if you're looking to have less possession, and you're looking for someone to be a bit of a nuisance, Agoumé is very good. Because Agoumé has had games for Manchester United where he has been good. Had a really good run in October, November where Agoumé was good. And I think in the bigger games, when it comes to covering ground, to winning the ball back, to winning it up high, when we're not going to have a lot of possession, I think Agoumé is good. But the minute we want to control a game and keep possession, and we're dominating possession, Agoumé is a liability, and we definitely need improvement on Agoumé in possession. We definitely need a long-term Casemiro replacement. We've never even replaced Eriksen yet. Bruno could go next year. We might be looking at a Bruno replacement next year. I think Man United are going to need to sign 3 midfielders in the next year: Agoumé, Baleba, potentially somebody else, particularly if we get back in Europe. So yeah, Maino's better than Agoumé, I agree. Agate's good off the ball, Maino's good on the ball. Look, I love Kobbie Mainoo. I hope that Ruben Amorim has big plans for him, and I think Baleba would have partnered him so well. Can we put 2 keepers and go at the same time? They probably run into each other and let the ball go in the net, let's be honest. Agoumé worries me. I think if Agoumé was a £30 million signing, I'd be fine. But I think because we spent 50 million on him and he was meant to be the DM, and we so clearly need a DM, that's the annoying situation. That's the annoying situation with Agoumé. If he was a 30 million squad player, it's fine. But he was meant to be the DM. He was meant to be the DM signing. And we already are looking at another DM. But that's because he's got limitations on the ball. Amorim was the manager he played his best football under, and we're still just looking at him, hoping and wanting more. That's the situation as it is. Continuing on into updates. Casemiro is expected to leave next year. Bruno could leave next year. Mainoo, if he doesn't get a lot of minutes, could leave next year. So we talked about this summer of Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo. We've reset the attack. But next summer looks like it's going to be a huge midfield reset with Baleba, but potentially someone else coming in the door as well. Imagine next summer if we literally just signed Baleba, Wharton, and a goalkeeper. Defensive depth would be a concern, particularly if we're in Europe next year. But imagine going into next summer and we just signed Baleba, Wharton, and a good goalkeeper. That's all you could ask for, to be honest. Baleba, I think if Bruno and Casemiro go, Baleba and Wharton is the two players I'd probably want in that pivot. And Maino's obviously there that can rotate with them. And Ugarte is there that can rotate with them for legs. That's what I'd want. De Jong, oh my God. De Jong's never going to leave Barcelona. They still owe him money, to be fair. They don't want him. 1 minute Barcelona don't want him and trying to kick De Jong out. The next minute he's one of the most important players. Amorim has 6 wins in the Prem. I'm worried. I'm worried in the sense of I liked what we saw versus Arsenal. I just want to win games. I feel like we look a lot better. We just need to win those games. And I think when the attack clicks, when they've played more together, we'll be better off. But, if we don't beat Fulham and we don't beat Burnley, things are going to go very negative very quickly. I think we can beat Fulham and Burnley, but I really want us to just win these next 2 games. If we can go into the international break with 6 points, I'll feel a lot happier. We must sign at least 1 player in the January window. Well, it depends what we're looking like in January. It'd be nice to utilise the January market. If there's someone good available, if there's someone we want available, it'd be nice to utilise the January market. But I wouldn't say we must sign someone. We'll probably be in a position where we'll need someone. Of course, it's Manchester United. But look, for me, we've got 1 game a week. If we sign a midfielder, I think we can push back into Europa League. For me, 1 game a week, sign a midfielder, we can get back into the Europa League. That's my sort of mindset with Manchester United. And I hope I'm right. I hope we have a good season. Didn't you think Amad was good when he came on? Amad was very good when he came on. I actually thought that we set up too passively against Arsenal. And maybe if we'd have gone at them from the beginning with Amad, it could have been a different game. Because Amad brought a lot more than Delo. So I kind of liked Amad at wing back more in Agoumé. I liked what we saw from Cunha in the second half. I liked what we saw from Matthijs de Ligt. I liked a lot of what we saw, being totally honest. So, yeah. Let's continue on into some more news, updates, and stories. Obviously, we have been looking at Adam Wharton. Manchester United scouts were present at Chelsea Stadium to watch Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton in action. It looks like Adam Wharton is the first choice Baleba alternative. It looks like we like Adam Wharton. It looks like we've got an eye on Adam Wharton. I just don't see Palace selling him this summer with Eze and Gay set to go. And if they do sell him, I don't see him being much cheaper than Baleba. And I think Baleba, we need a lot more than Adam Wharton. I think both are great players. Both would improve us. Adam Wharton's got a little bit of the English overratedness. But that's my general feeling on it. We're looking at Adam Wharton. We're scouting at Adam Wharton. I think we could go for him next year. I think Baleba's the number 1 dream target. I think Adam Wharton's the number 2 dream target. I think both will be on the market next year, but Liverpool will be in for one of them. Tottenham will be in for one of them. We've done the groundwork with Baleba to maybe get the feeling that he will accept if we go in for him next season, which is absolutely great. But I can't see us doing anything. Let me just check if there is some more news and updates coming out in regards to United news. Someone said there's been a few updates. I'm just going to check my feed. Apparently we're making a bid. Apparently we're making a bid for Lucien Agoumé. Now, this has come from Indy Cala, who is very hit and miss, let's be totally honest. Like, David Ornstein gave him credit for one thing, but it's now just coming out breaking that Manchester United are to bid 22 to 26 million for Lucien Agoumé. So this has come out from Indy Cala News, who obviously got the credit from David Ornstein for breaking their Baleba news, but they're not known for being the most reliable outside of that. But they're saying that Manchester United are to bid 22 to 26 million for Agoumé. So that could be one to watch. That could be very much one to watch. Are we preparing a bid for Agoumé? I'm not sure. I think it makes sense. I think it would be a good signing. But I don't know. I don't know if we're going to make a bid until Romano or Ornstein or Laurie Whitwell or Sammy Mockbell or someone I trust says we're going to make a bid. I won't fully believe this. I know he was absolutely spot on when it came to Baleba news and all of that, but he also said we were making a bid for Baleba and we never made that bid for Baleba. So I am skeptical about Indy Cala. I know David Ornstein gave him credit. I know he got that story right. He does get a lot of things right. He got a bit of the Eze story right, but I think it's very hit and miss, to be honest. But apparently we're looking at the 22 to 26 million bid for Agoumé. If we can put in a bid for Agoumé, that would be absolutely brilliant stuff. So I will update the title for that. But yeah, I'd like to see that. Big up to Diego in the chat. Good draw for Crystal Palace. Eze's goal should have never been ruled out. Palace looked good, but it looks like that was Eze's last game. But yeah, like Eze's class. Yeah, Eze's had 2 free kicks ruled out on the opening day for such silly things. You know, it's so annoying. So there's now reports that United are to bid 22 to 26 million for Lucien Agoumé. Obviously got a 35 million release clause, so I think it would take 35 million to do a deal. But if United do want to bid 22 to 26 million pounds to test the waters to see if we can get that guy, then all go for it. You know, test the waters, because he is a very good player. He is very good off the ball. He can bring a lot, and as is said here by Statman Dave, Agoumé made 4.73 tackles plus interceptions per 90 in La Liga last season, putting him in the top 2% of midfielders for that metric. The right profile for Manchester United. So again, very good off the ball, probably the profile we want. Why is someone's... Yeah, there's a free kick, man. I'm just looking at the chat. Sorry, I was just seeing what's coming out. So, obviously, interesting updates coming in a bid. But he did say reports breaking in France. Sorry. He did say, you're right. Sorry, IndyCala didn't say Man United are bidding 22 to 26 million for Agoumé. He's saying reports breaking in France that we're bidding 22 to 26 million for Agoumé. Yeah. I don't know if we're making a bid, but there's reports saying we are making a bid. I'm skeptical. Until Romano says we made a bid, I'm a bit like, I don't think we're going to make a bid. Do you know what I mean? In terms of other news, we do have some updates coming out on the striker situation. And that is that Napoli have asked Manchester United about a loan deal for Rasmus Højlund. United want Højlund to leave and have set a 40 million asking price, but could entertain loans. Obviously, Lukaku's out injured for 3 months. We know that AC Milan have been in talks with Højlund. Højlund hasn't made a decision on whether he wants to leave, but I think he's more leaning towards leaving Manchester United because he's not getting many minutes. Napoli could go in and match AC Milan's loan offer, so it gives AC Milan a little bit of competition. Lukaku out for 3 months. Napoli also inquired about Joshua Zirkzee, but United did inform Napoli that Joshua Zirkzee is definitely not up for sale, so good on United for that. But yeah, sorry, he worded it as it's reports from France. It didn't come out from IndyCala. That was my bad. Reports from France are suggesting we're putting in a bid for Agoumé, who obviously is from France. For those who are wondering why I kept talking about the goalkeeping situation and saying we weren't going to get Diogo Costa, it's because goalkeeper isn't a priority position to strengthen this summer. Suggestions of Donnarumma were quickly shut down as he isn't being pursued. Many sources, not just Nathan Salt, they have come out and pretty much said that we're no longer going for a goalkeeper. Romano said on the goalkeeping situation as well that the last external contract Andre Onana had was with Saudi clubs in June and nothing happened. Onana's still recovering to get back to his best form. He's hoping to take over Bayindir's place in the coming days. So it doesn't look like anything Man United can do anything in the goalkeeping market, which is annoying. But I do think midfield is more of a priority. I would like a better goalkeeper, and I don't think any of them are good enough. Casemiro is expected to leave, yes, next season. Very, very true. Bruno could leave next season as well, but no confirmation on whether if Bruno's going to leave next season. But listen, people, I wanted to do like a half an hour show, just covering all the news, covering all the stories, and all of that as well. Sevilla finished 17th, we finished 15th. What's your point? It's because, yeah, but the Wolves finished 16th last season. We signed Cunha. He's a good signing. He looks good. Just because Seville finished 17th doesn't mean Agomé's bad. Wolves finished 16th. You know, Tottenham finished 17th last year. Romero, Van der Ven walks in our side. So you can finish 17th but be a good player for a bad side, and Agoumé was that. So hopefully we make a bid. Hopefully those stories are true. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching today's 30-minute roundup. I'm just going to see if there's anyone live that we can redirect to. Anyone we can raid. Go show them some love. Go show them some support. It's never a foul live. No lives for them. Let me check. Doesn't look like anyone is live that I'm subscribed to, so no raid. But yeah, big up everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye.